What's going on, and welcome back to Bourbon of the Week. My name's Chris. I'm going to be your host for today, and we have finally made it to our semi-final rounds of our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition, brought to you by the Great Whiskey Challenge. We have Blue Note Juke Joint. We have Four Roses OESK. We're going to see who's going to win this battle and move on to the championship round against Mermaid Spirits or Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Barrel Proof. But first, a quick word from our sponsor. That's right, throughout all of March Madness, we have been showing off some amazing products from Great Whiskey Challenge, the original blind tasting kit, and this right here might be my favorite one yet. When you open this bad boy up, you're going to get the custom wood carrying case, which is going to be carrying 2 sets of custom hand-blown tasting glasses labeled A, B, and C. 2 of the MDF tasting boards, which are beautiful wooden boards. You're going to get 2 of the score pads, the ABC wooden tags, a 2-ounce eyedropper bottle, as well as a funnel for the 2-ounce bottles, 3 2-ounce sample bottles, and the instruction booklet. This is everything that you need for the ultimate blind tasting kit experience. Now, if I could recommend one kit to you guys, this would be it right here. Now, I'm not the biggest cigar smoker, but we did show off and display one of their cigar smoking kits as well. Basically everything you see here, but they have an insert for your cigars, your cutter, and your lighter as well. But this right here is absolutely beautiful. We're going to use our A and B glasses out of this. Everything else we can put away for now. Let's pour these up and let's see who's going to move on in our March Madness Bourbon Bracket Single Barrel Edition, brought to you by Great Whiskey Challenge. You ever have one of those it's been a hell of a week and it's only Monday type of deals? That's how I'm feeling today, and it's Sunday. I don't know if that's the beginning of your week or the end of your week, but for me, it's the beginning of my week. That's the best pour I've done yet. Let's see if we can do the same with Blue Note. I'm getting good. So here we go. We poured them up. Everybody's favorite part. Let's mix them up. Should be good enough. So I think this round's going to be tough for a couple of reasons. Number one, I feel like Four Roses kind of blew Old Forester Single Barrel out of the water. And not to say that the pick wasn't good, because this is a GAWOB pick. The Old Forester was a GAWOB pick, and the Old Forester got blown out, and the Blue Note ended up winning. This is also going to be tough because I am doing a Blue Note Juke Joint pick for my first barrel pick, actually. Come to think of it, this is airing on Tuesday. Tuesday at 6 p.m. on my Instagram is when we're doing that pick on an Instagram Live. So if you're watching this pre-6 p.m. on Tuesday, come over to my Instagram Live at 6 p.m. and watch me make that pick. Of course, link in the description below. So I kind of want Blue Note to win, but at the end of the day, this Four Roses was just so good. But there's only one way to figure out who is going to win, and that's by tasting these. Time for the traditional sip. Cheers, y'all. Whichever that is, it's good. So we already talked about both of these bottles when they went up against their competitors in the first round, but let's remind you of a couple of things. This is Four Roses Single Barrel. This is the OESK. It's coming in at 104.8 proof. It only tells you the alcohol. You have to double it to get to the proof. This is specially selected by Fine Wine and Good Spirits, the 55th edition. Take that with a grain of salt. I don't know how much influence Fine Wine and Good Spirits actually has in picking out these bottles. It tells you 20% rye mash bill. So this is 75% corn, 20% rye, leaving us with the 5% malted barley. And it does tell you light spice, which is the K, which is the yeast strain, and that's Four Roses OESK. Oh, also, if you care, this is warehouse number QN barrel number 51-1U. Apparently, that's a great batch. But let's get over here. Let's talk about our Blue Note real quick. This is coming in at 120.6 proof. This is Blue Note uncut, unfiltered, hand selected by GAWOB. I do know the mash bill on this one as well. This is 70% corn, 21% rye, leaving us with 9% malted barley. Age-wise, the Blue Note's probably around that 4-year mark, while our Four Roses OESK is somewhere probably in that 7 to 9-year mark. Maybe we can pick up some age indicators. Maybe we can pick up that proof difference from 120 to 104 proof, but there's only one way we're going to know how to do that, and that's if we keep drinking some whiskey tonight. So let's try this one out. Ooh. That's good. And it's the Four Roses. I can almost guarantee it. The reason I think that that's the Four Roses is because, again, we talked about that proof difference, and this one is just so much easier to drink. Now, if you've seen any of my reviews in the past, or you've seen me try and guess proof, this isn't a definitive answer, but right now I could bet my whiskey career on it that that's the Four Roses OESK and that's the Blue Note Juke Joint. But let's keep drinking these and figure out which one we like better strictly on taste. And we got a couple fun facts for you along the way. Let's talk about Four Roses first, and something that I did not know about them. Did you know that in the mid to late 1950s, they actually shut down production of Four Roses here in the United States and focused on overseas sales, basically taking over Japan and have a cult following over there now? They brought it back in the 2000s, which means they basically have only had 23 years compared to these other companies that stayed since Prohibition, and yet they're as big as they are, which is kind of cool to think about. But here you go, another sip. Cheers, y'all. If that's 104 proof, then Four Roses is trash. If it's 120 proof, it makes a lot more sense. Same thing over here. If this is 120 proof, that's wild. That's one of the best sipping whiskeys I've ever got, if that's 120 proof. I just can't imagine that that's the way it's breaking down today. But let's try this and talk a little bit more about Blue Note. Interesting fact about Blue Note that I did not know is it's very influenced by the jazz world, which makes sense, right? Blue Note, jazz, it all kind of clicks together like that. But I also did not know, and I cannot confirm nor deny this because I've only had one bottle, but apparently different labels are done by different artists' influence. So I've only had one bottle. I can't compare this label to another label, but apparently they use jazz artists and musicians to influence their different labels on their bottles. If that is true, and when I do my Blue Note pick, maybe I'll get some type of influence on who gets to influence my label, which would be really cool to be a part of. But here we go, another sip. That's just so good, so smooth, so well balanced. We haven't talked much about the flavor profiles that I'm personally picking up off of these glasses, but we're going to do that tonight. This glass over here, the other reason that I think it's more of that Four Roses style is because I'm getting like a spiciness, which I'm assuming is this over here. The first time I had Four Roses up against Old Forester, it gave me a lot of sweetness as well. And let me tell you about exactly what I feel like I'm picking up. And I can't think of the name, which is why I'm rambling right now. But what are those like spicy Mike and Ikes called? What are they? Hold on, I'll think of it. Hot tamales. Have you guys ever had hot tamales? It's like those Mike and Ike candies, but they're hot. The first time you eat them, you take them, you put them in your mouth, and it's definitely spicy. But then once you get past that spice, you start to open up into the sweetness of the actual candy underneath the spice. And that's what I feel like I'm getting off of this glass over here. It's almost like a big red experience, kind of the same thing. You get that spiciness, but then you get that gum, which is going to give you that sweetness. It's that candied sweetness, that confection sugar, something like that is what I'm getting off of this glass right here. Again, very well balanced, very complex, a lot of different flavors going on, a little bit of an oak influence on this one as well, which makes me lean more towards that 7 to 9 year, while this one does seem a little bit younger, which makes me want to think that this is the 4 year. That being said, when we move over to this glass over here, I'm still getting a very good sweet profile, but it's more of a fruit sweet, like a red raspberry or a red apple. I think the first video I said it was some type of red fruit, and I feel like I'm still getting that off of this particular glass right here. You do get a little bit of spice. I think that 21% rye is definitely going to give you that rye influence on that, but this is a weird kind of spice compared to this one. This is definitely a rye spice, and this is probably a rye spice influence as well, but I think that yeast strain is giving me more of the spice that I'm getting off of this glass right here, thinking that this is the Four Roses, than the actual rye spice, which is weird because it's 20% and 21% rye, so they're very close when it comes to that rye, but it is a different spice off of these two glasses. So it's kind of weird because they're very similar experiences, and the fact that I'm getting sweet and spicy off of both of these, a little bit more oak over here, but at the end of the day, it's a very different experience, and that's kind of the best thing about whiskey and bourbon in general is the nuance and the flavor that you can get. Both of these delicious, both of these very good, but which type of sweet and spiciness blend better together, we're about to find that out in a second. Here's what's running through my mind right now, and this is how we're going to decide who's moving on to the next round, right? This glass drinks hotter than this glass. There's no real way around that. This is probably 120 proof. This is probably 104 proof, but at the end of the day, if it's not, I'm probably retiring from drinking whiskey because I don't deserve to drink these anymore. This glass, though, and the question that I'm asking myself is, does the proof add more flavor? The fact that it's 120 proof versus 104 proof, does it add more flavor behind that proof? Because right now, this is drinking easier and it's drinking a little bit better when it comes to my particular flavor profile. Does this glass have enough flavor behind it to make up for that proof difference? And there's only one way to figure that out. We got to shoot these. And I know what you're thinking, Chris, we're not supposed to shoot good whiskey, but I drank enough of it to get the flavors to figure out which one I like better. The question is, which one do I like better with the ethanol kick behind it? Let's find that out. Salud. Down the hatch. That's just so much easier. Hey, if you made it this far in the video, make sure you click that like and that subscribe button. I would greatly appreciate it. Listen, behind Blue Note is Green River Distillery. That's who distills the whiskey that's in this bottle right here. Green River is something that I will continually hunt out for now because I know how good their whiskey is. So good, as a matter of fact, that Bardstown Bourbon Company actually bought the company because they didn't want anybody else to have access to that distillate. We know about Four Roses and how good that is and the history that it has, but Green River is definitely something up and coming that I think I'm going to be keeping my eye on. That being said, if I was right all along, this is Four Roses, this is Blue Note. I've got to stick with this glass over here, but we've got to figure out now if I was right or not. I will say I was a little bit nervous after I took those shots because I wasn't 100% after that, and I kind of risked my entire whiskey career on this. But let's figure out which one won, and the answer is, drumroll please, it's going to be A. It is A. This was glass A, which was obviously Four Roses. Listen, Blue Note put up an amazing fight tonight. It's a great bottle. My pick will be coming out in the next, well, I'll say 3 or 4 months or so. So keep an eye out on that. Make sure you click that like and subscribe button. Check us out on Instagram at Bourbon of the Week. Go click that follow button over there. Code BOTWMM at checkout. GreatWhiskeyChallenge.com. That link in the description below. Come join our Patreon if you want to be a bourbon bomber, get some behind the scenes stuff. Check out the Patreon page. Join us on Discord. Chat with us 24/7. Please don't drink and drive. Always drink responsibly and stay healthy, stay happy, stay drinking. Cheers, y'all. So good.